Yes, Mataji.
Excellent. So we can start with the prayers. Please recite with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्येश्वरम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना रुद्यन्त्यहस्तोहव्यत्राणि विदुनोति सुरत्सताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ततां प्रसङ्गान् मम वीर्यसंविदो भवन्तिरुत्कर्णरसायनः कथः तज्जोषनादा श्वपवर्गवर्ध्मनि श्रद्धा रतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति। My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. Please accept my obeisances, and I'm very grateful that I'll be able to share something with you today, and we can discuss today's verse of Srimad Bhagavatam from 4th chapter. I'll try my best. My throat is still not 100%. I've been sick last 2 weeks, not well at all, but this is a service I really wanted to do, and really grateful to Divya Prabhu. It was my turn, and I just couldn't, and he filled me in, and he gave a class the other Saturday, so I'm very grateful to him. And today I'll try my best, and I hope the throat cooperates. So I need your blessings. So we'll recite today's verse, and we'll discuss 1.4.26. एवं प्रवृत्तस्य सदा भूतानां श्रेयसी द्विजः सर्वात्मकेनापि यदा नातुष्यत् ध्रुदयं ततः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Purport. Sri Vyasadeva was not satisfied with himself, although he had prepared literatures of Vedic value for the all-around welfare of the general mass of people. It was expected that he would be satisfied by all such activities, but ultimately he was not satisfied. So here, Sutta Goswami is reciting this verse, and he is explaining to all the sages of Naimisharanya. He is saying twice born Brahmanas. So twice born Brahmanas, anyone anyone knows why they are called twice born? What is the meaning of twice born? I think we've discussed this before. What is a twice born?
When they get they get initiated. This is
Yes.
twice.
Yes, Krishangi Mataji. Thank you so much. Absolutely. So the person, a living being gets birth from his parents, that is first birth, and second birth is when he gets initiation from his spiritual master, especially the Brahmin initiation. The second initiation, they get the thread, they get the mantra. So then they are called twice born Brahmanas. It's their new birth and they are by qualification Brahmins. So here he's saying that twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied. So his mind means here he's talking about Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. So he was not satisfied with himself, although he had prepared literatures of Vedic value for the all-around welfare of the general mass of people. It was expected that he would be satisfied by all such activities, but ultimately he was not satisfied. So here, just to see the summary, how this chapter 4 starts off Canto 1, we have seen that in the previous chapters, the sages asked 6 questions and they got all the answers, all the 6 answers. And thereafter, this chapter, it starts with now sages asking 3 more questions. And because if you remember, the last 6th question, its answer was that Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter of dharma, right? The question was that after Krishna departed, where did dharma take place, take shelter? That was the 6th question, and the answer is Srimad Bhagavatam is the shelter of dharma. So all the religious principles. So now they are asking 3 more questions, and the first question is, yeah, anyone wants to tell what are the 3 questions, or what is the first question? The rest of the first chapter, first canto, is the discussion of these 3 questions because 6 questions are answered, right? So, Leela Avtaras, Shakti Avesha Avtaras, Purusha Avtaras have been discussed. The first 2 questions answer is Bhakti Yoga, that has been discussed. And thereafter, Dharma has taken place in within Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna took birth. That was one of the answer, right? 2. Why? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So that is the answer. To establish the dharma and to take his devotees back, to protect them and to annihilate the miscreants. That's why Krishna comes again and again to the material world. Now, these 6 are answered. So the now 3 more questions the sages have. The first question is, they said, we want to know about the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, and they want to know why did Vyasdev compile Srimad Bhagavatam. They want to know what was his inspiration behind compiling this Bhagavatam, and when was it compiled, what is the history, and the next 2 questions, question 2 and 3, what are they? Those questions are about the foremost hearer of Bhagavatam. Who is the foremost hearer of Bhagavatam? Anyone?
Shukadev,
Shukdev
Parikshit
Goswami.
Maharaj. Yeah.
Yes, excellent, Krishangi Mataji. And who is the foremost speaker of Bhagavatam?
Shukadev Goswami.
Sorry, Parikshit Maharaj is the hearer, and the
Hearer.
speaker is
Shukadev Goswami.
Shukdev Goswami. Yeah. So the first question is, please explain history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Second question is about, we want to know about Parikshit Maharaj. Who is the foremost hearer of Bhagavatam and how did he become the king? Please narrate birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. As king, what did he do? How did he retire from his active political responsibility as a king? And under what circumstances he hears Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadev Goswami? And the third question is that Sukadev Goswami, who is the son of Vyasadeva, and he was so renounced. We all know that he is the foremost speaker, and so they want to know about. Sukdev Goswami. And we know that he was so renounced that he would not wear any clothes on his body. He was so young and beautiful, but he did not know any difference between men and women. He was completely detached from this material world, a complete spiritual personality. Because then they are in the spiritual consciousness. He's not bound in the modes. So the one who is aware of this material body, for them, they know, seeing man and woman, the difference between their bodies. But when once these heavenly damsels were bathing in a lake, and as Sukdev Goswami is passing by, these ladies, they saw him coming, but they did not worry, or they did not shy to cover themselves, because they knew this is a completely renounced person. There is no need to be shy. But at the same time, soon after, when Sukdev Goswami's father Vyasdev is passing by from there, who is fully covered in clothes and who is at the age of their grandfather, still the girls covered themselves, because they knew that here is one personality who knows who is man and a woman, and so they were very shy. So this is what we are trying to say here is how exalted is Sukadev Goswami. He is a Mahabhagavata, and he's totally renounced, and he's the foremost speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. And so now the sages want to know that how did he stay for 1 week with Parikshit Maharaj, because he was so renounced. He would not stay in front of a house for longer than the time of milking a cow. Whatever time takes in milking a cow is not very long. Longer than that, he would not stay there. Because he does not mix with the householders. He's renounced because his 24/7 activities are spiritual activities. So they wanted to know how did he meet Parikshit Maharaj, and how did he stay for 1 whole week with Parikshit Maharaj. So rest of the first canto is answer to these three questions. History of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please tell us more about Parikshit Maharaj, and please tell us more about Sukadev Goswami. So now fourth, fifth and sixth chapters, they are description of the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first question is answered. And where did Vyasdev get the inspiration to compile Srimad Bhagavatam, and under what circumstances he did so, and how did he get enlightened and inspired to do so? And from the seventh chapter till the end of first canto, birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj, and the second question, his meeting with Sukdev Goswami, will be answered. So up to the sixth chapter, it will be history of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in this chapter, beautifully, we have heard all the other lectures which I have not had a chance to hear the recordings, but I'm sure it's also nicely covered. And we know that this fourth chapter, it's the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vyasdev, he divided one Veda into four, and he saw so many anomalies of Kali Yuga, the defects of Kali Yuga, and the people, how their bodily strength will be decreased, and how they will be faithless. Most of them, not all of them, at least in the beginning stage, there are spiritually inclined people, and they are in the mode of goodness, but predominantly there are people mainly in the mode of passion and ignorance, especially as the Kali Yuga progresses. And people will be dull-witted, they will have reduced lifespan, they will be durbhaga. So being compassionate on all these living entities, for guidance in Kali Yuga, Vyasdev thought, what can I do for them? So because the intelligence bandwidth is low of these people, they cannot focus and they cannot concentrate and study the vast four Vedas. So he wanted to simplify them. And as we all know, Brahma spoke these four Vedas from his four mouths. And thus this one Veda, he simplified, divided into four, Sam Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. And then he entrusts them to his disciples and grand disciples, who take them over and then propagate the knowledge further. Then Vyasdev wrote the Puranas, which was given to Roma Harshana, who is the father of Sutta Goswami. And then he also compiled Mahabharata, and there are so many stories and so many topics are within Mahabharata for those who are less intelligently inclined. And then the Upanishads were also compiled by Srila Vyasdev. So all this great literature, and after doing so much, also despite doing so much, his heart is dissatisfied. So that's what this verse is about, that his heart is dissatisfied. He did not feel completeness. When we do something great or beneficial, especially when it is for the such a big humanity, it is done with such a pure heart, it is done with compassion and selfless work, uh, basically gives a lot of satisfaction, right? So but even though with such a well-wishing attitude, this should have nourished his heart. It should have satisfied his heart, and it should have filled Vyasdev's heart with happiness. But he did not feel happy. He was feeling incomplete. He was feeling despondent. He was feeling dissatisfied, and he was thinking, my efforts are very pure. I have followed strict disciplinary vows, and I have followed all the rules and regulations that a Brahmana should follow, a Vaishnava should follow. I have abided by all the rulings, Vedas, sacrifices, everything I have done properly. Despite all this, why am I feeling so dissatisfied? Why am I feeling emptiness in the heart? So Vyasdev was honestly contemplating within himself, being the great author. He sat down and started contemplating. And then from within his heart, he did as he was contemplating, he got the answer within himself that he had not glorified Bhakti Yoga enough. And also at the same time, Lord Shri Krishna, he is not sufficiently glorified. And Lord Krishna and Bhakti Yoga, which is so dear to Krishna himself and his devotees, all this is not done yet. So he has not sufficiently described the spotless glories of Sri Krishna. As he was contemplating that, it will be very much confirmed later by his own Guru Narad Muni, who appears there immediately. So that will be in the progressive verses later on, which will be discussed at that time. But I just wanted to say that, like how the sun shines, right? When the sun shines in the sky, the sunshine reaches everywhere on the earth globe. And Narad Muni is compared to such sun, and Vyasdev tells him he wants to basically impress upon his guru, and he wants to tell him that how he needs his help. He says that you are the knower of everyone's heart, just like sunshine, air, it can penetrate everywhere, and just like the super soul within our heart. Of every living being can understand the moods and deeds of all the beings. Similarly, Narad Muni, you being an empowered representative of Lord Krishna, you being the pure devotee of Lord, understand everybody's heart without they telling you, you know that. So please tell me the reason of my despondency. So that's how then further we will see what happens in the coming verses. But at this point in this verse and even next verse, they are connected, verse 27. I was not sure whether to take it today, but these two verses are just the same theme is there, that Vyasdev at this point is not satisfied with the tremendous work and the scriptures that he has written. So here we can see, to further understand, everyone knows at this point, right, that Bhakti Yoga is the essence of even Bhagavad Gita. And I have put that verse later on, but we can take it now here. Yeah. So, yeah, when we were studying 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we came across this verse. Yo mamevam sammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me, Krishna says, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without doubting, is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So here we can see even what we are studying right now in this verse and the coming verses, that why Vyasdev is not satisfied, because Krishna is not glorified enough, and Bhakti Yoga is not being glorified. And here in the 15th chapter, this is what Krishna says. So I put the some things from the purport here of the Srila Prabhupada's purport. Someone wants to read from, there are many philosophical.
I can read if nobody wants
Yes,
to read.
please. Thank you, Mataji.
There are many philosophical speculations about the constitutional position of the living entities and the supreme absolute truth. Now, in this verse, the supreme personality of Godhead clearly explains that anyone who knows Lord Krishna to be the supreme person is actually the knower of everything. The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth, but the perfect knower, without wasting his valuable time, engages directly in Krishna consciousness, the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Throughout the whole of Bhagavad Gita, this fact is being stressed at every step. And still, there are so many stubborn commentators on Bhagavad Gita who consider the supreme absolute truth and the living entities to be one and the same. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti, learning by oral reception. One should actually receive the Vedic message from authorities like Krishna and his representatives. Hare Krishna, here Krishna distinguishes everything very nicely, and one should hear from this source. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Krishna Mataji. Yes, so here we can see that same thing is being stressed by Krishna here. What he is saying is that there are so many things that one could do, right? Or one could gain. So many material knowledges, so many things are out there. But and there are other people who will do philosophical speculations on the position of the living entity and the absolute truth, the Lord. But clearly here, Lord himself is saying that anyone who knows Krishna as the supreme person is actually the knower of everything. What else is there to know? The imperfect knower goes on simply speculating about the absolute truth. So here we can see that Srimad Bhagavatam, even in the second verse, right? Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayona moolanam. So there also we saw that in the beginning itself the Kaitava dharma, the cheating propensity, the religion that is not pure bhakti is being kicked out in the very beginning of Bhagavatam. So we all know that the way that Bhagavad Gita starts is with 2.13, right? I had heard this long time back in my Guru Maharaj class that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he says that the Bhagavad Gita is the foundational study. These are the words of Krishna. From his lotus mouth, this Gita, the song, Bhagavad Gita, is being spoken. And the content of Bhagavad Gita is the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So it begins with 2.13. You are not the body, you are an eternal spirit soul. And Bhagavad Gita ends with 1866. Abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. Right? That was the last verse that Lord Shri Krishna spoke. He said, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. And then Srimad Bhagavatam starts, which is like the graduate study. So here in Bhagavatam, activities of Krishna are narrated by Vyasadeva. And the content is character and pastimes of Lord Krishna and his devotees. And how does Srimad Bhagavatam start? It begins where Bhagavad Gita had ended. So Bhagavad Gita had ended, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. And Bhagavatam begins 1.1.2, reject all cheating religion and get to the essence, bhakti. And how does Bhagavatam end? 12.13.23, the 12th canto, it says, chanting the holy names is the means to destroy all sinful reactions. So this is how Bhagavatam ends, chanting the holy names, because okay, now I'm just getting these thoughts, unprepared thoughts, but it's also connected that 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verses 8 to 12, say the same thing. What is the highest bhakti? What is the highest bhakti one can do? That is the Smaranatmika Bhakti. And Smaranatmika Bhakti is the Bhakti that is done with the mind. Means what? That engaging our mind, emotions, feelings, and thinking about Krishna all the time. That is the highest form of Bhakti. And that's what we are doing when we are chanting the holy names. We are meditating on the Lord. If you can't do that, what does Krishna say in the 8.b? 8.a is Smaranatmika Bhakti, right? Do the connect with Krishna with your mind, with your loving emotions, connect your heart. If you can't do that, it's very difficult, right? All the time to chant, and because in Kali Yuga, mind goes through so many thoughts, and we know that Chanchala hi mana Krishnam. Arjuna says that I can control the wind, but not the mind. So if you can't do that, then engage your intelligence in understanding the scriptures, gain the knowledge of Krishna, and thus you will come to the point of loving him. When you know about somebody, then you will love them. So you need to gather the knowledge. And if you can't do that, by the way, that bhakti is called Mananatmika Bhakti. If you can't even do that, then what you do is you do sadhana bhakti under a bona fide spiritual master. You follow all the rules and regulations, and you do the sadhana bhakti. So you train yourself. It is not spontaneous bhakti, but it's a sadhana bhakti, and you work for Krishna. And we are so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada in this movement has acharyas, and Prabhupada has given a beautiful regiment by which we are doing all three. So we are doing Smaranatmika, Mananatmika, and we are doing the Sadhana Bhakti, we are doing the Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. How? So in the morning we chant our prescribed rounds. Those who are initiated are doing 16. And for Brahmins, there is more mantras to chant. When we are chanting, we are trying to connect with Supreme Lord. We try close our eyes, try our best to, bring the mind back, chant and hear, chant and hear. So that is Smaranatmika Bhakti. Thereafter, we are doing Mananatmika Bhakti. What happens at the temple? There is Bhagavatam class, Chaitanya Charitamrita class that we can hear online or go in, if better, even personally. Now that things are much better. Nothing than hearing a class personally in the association of devotees. There we are engaging our intelligence because we are trying to understand what the speaker is saying. We are discussing, we are asking questions, answering questions. And thirdly, during the whole day, everybody has services. Whatever is our position, we all have services. And what Srila Prabhupada has taught, offer those services that you do to Krishna. So that is then engaging your body in the service of the Lord. And then the fourth thing is that give up your results for to Krishna, and that is what a lot of us do, is offering the prasadam the best way, right? Offering the bhoga and honoring the prasadam, and doing good work, charity, a lot of services that one can do, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that where Bhagavad Gita ends, Bhagavatam begins. Reject all the cheating religion and get to the essence. That is 112. And Bhagavatam ends with chanting the holy names because it destroys all sinful reactions. That is the 12.13.23. Where that ends, that's where Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is considered a postgraduate study, starts. And this is the mind of Krishna, as Acharyas say. And the content is process and practice of devotional service. See, Chaitanya Charitamrita starts with, I will come to teach the process of chanting by practicing it myself. And that is the CC Adi 3.20. So where Bhagavatam ended by saying that chant the holy names, this is the pure bhakti. That's where CC starts by saying that I'll come myself. He's so compassionate. Krishna comes himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani and in the complexion of Srimati Radharani as a devotee to even teach us. This is like highest form of compassion, to come and teach it to us by his own example. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita ends with Sri Chaitanya. He forgot himself throughout the entire day and night, being merged in an ocean of ecstatic love of Krishna. And that is the Antya Leela 15.4. So this is the complete, as we can see in Bhagavad Gita, 15 chapter is meant to be very, very important chapter, as all the chapters are, but everything is there in this one chapter. And this one verse, Krishna is giving the essence. He's saying that just understand this much, and that is all the knowledge that you need. And I was reading this purport, and there I really like this shloka, so I put it. It is Aradhito yadi haris tapasa tata kim, Naradhito yadi haris tapasa tata kim, Antarbahir yadi haris tapasa tata kim, Nantarbahir yadi haris tapasa tata kim. What it means? One who engages in sense gratification must perform severe penances at the end of life to counteract his sinful hedonistic activities. Okay, so those who have done sinful activities, they need to do penances because how else to remove these sinful reactions? But a devotee of the Lord, however, naturally develops Krishna consciousness, and he need not subject himself to such radical penances. And this verse is from Pancharatra. If one is worshipping the Lord properly, what is the use of severe penances? And if one is not properly worshipping the Lord, what is the use of severe penances? If Shri Krishna is realized within and without everything that exists, what is the use of severe penances? And if Shri Krishna is not seen within and without everything, what is the use of severe penances? So, what is the point here made? Understanding and realizing Krishna, that is the main thing, for that is the business of a devotee. That's what a devotee does. And there are so many things also here that we can see, and then we have already discussed this. I had put it in the slides, but we all know, right? We all know that how Vyasdev, why he has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is main reason is the so many anomalies in the Kali Yuga and its people. We know this the words Prayena Payusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Janaha Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyahya Upadrutaha. O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So, someone can please read the purport, these two?
I could read it.
Yes, Chetna Mataji, thank you.
Where would you like me to start? Is it the people of this age or the one?
Overeating.
Okay.
Thank
All right. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of living sap the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. The people of this age are also very lazy, not only materially, but in the matter of self-realization. The human life is especially meant for self-realization. That is to say, men should come to know what he is, what the world is, and what the supreme truth is. Human life is a means by which the living entity can end all the miseries of the hard struggle for life in material existence, and by which he can return to Godhead, his eternal home. But due to a bad system of education, men have no desire for self-realization. Even if they come to know about it, they unfortunately become victims of misguided teachers. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So it is very much self-explanatory, right? We have also discussed that before. And then in this chapter itself, there are two verses, 17 and 18. They are also further saying that how it is so difficult in Kali Yuga. The translation is that the great sage who was fully equipped in knowledge could see through his transcendental vision the deterioration of everything material due to the influence of the age. He could also see that the faithless people in general would be reduced in duration of life and would be impatient due to lack of goodness. Thus, he contemplated for the welfare of man in all statuses and orders of life. And again, these two. So, someone can please read the first paragraph, and then one more devotee can read the second one, please. Okay, no volunteers? No one.
Can I read it, Mataji?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. The unmanifested forces of time are so powerful that they reduce all matter to oblivion in due course. In Kali Yuga, the last millennium of a round of 4 millenniums, the power of all material objects deteriorates by the influence of time. In this age, the duration of the material body of the people in general is much reduced, and so is the memory. The cow doesn't give as much as milk as it used to give formerly. The production of vegetables and fruits is less than before. Intelligence is meager. Mutual dealings are full of hypocrisy and so on. The great sage Vyasadeva could see this by his transcendental vision. As an astrologer can see the future fate of a man, or an astrologer can foretell the solar and lunar eclipses, those liberated souls who can see through the scriptures can foretell the future of all mankind. They can see this due to their sharp vision of spiritual attainment. And all such transcendentalists who are naturally devotees of the Lord are always eager to render welfare service to the people in general. They are the real friends of the people in general. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Yes, so the real friends of people in general. And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is our best friend. It's compiled by Vyasadeva, and it's giving everything that is there to come out of this material world and this existence. Otherwise, this transmigration is going to continue for a long, 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 long time. So, and we want to come out of it, right? So this is the only way. And as we all know, yesterday Jagannath Rath Yatra was celebrated, and many of you must be reciting Jagannath Ashtakam also at home every day since Snan Yatra. So I wanted to recite this beautiful verse. It's the eighth verse of the Jagannath Ashtakam, the last one. हरत्वं संसारं द्रुततरमसारं सुरपते हरत्वं पापानां विततिम् अपरां यादवपते अहो दिनेनाथे निहितचरणो निश्चितमिदम् जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवतु मे. So here, O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast, shoreless ocean of sins. Alas, this is certain Lord Jagannath bestows his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world but him. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. So here, this shloka, it emphasizes on release from the samsara chakra by taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So here he's saying that, O Surapati, O my Lord of all the devtas and demigods, O Hari, the one, Hari means Hara, the one who steals. So please steal my sufferings. Please, you are the one who steals the sufferings of all the devotees. So please steal my samsara sufferings, and you are the Yadavapati. So please steal away all my sinful reactions and papas. And I am Dina. I am Dina, and you are Dina Bandhu. For sure, I have taken your shelter. Nishchitam, right? He says Nishchitam idam. Surely I have taken your shelter, so please protect me. In this way, if one offers prayers to Supreme Lord, takes his shelter, then one can be relieved from material existence. Otherwise, this transmigration of the living beings from one body to another will continue for a very, very long, long time to come. And we don't want it to happen. So we have to take shelter of the Lord. And everyone knows about this beautiful story also of Lord Jagannath, right? That once upon a time in Dwarka, all the queens of Krishna, all 16,108 queens, they wanted to know about all the activities and the wonderful sweet nectarian pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. When Krishna was in Vrindavan, they had heard he had done such beautiful pastimes and enchanted all the Vrajvasis with his charm and with his sweet activities, but they wanted to hear. So Mother Rohini tells them, okay, I will tell you all the pastimes, but someone should watch at the door. Krishna Balram should not come, no one else should hear. And so they keep Subhadra, sister of Krishna and Balram, at the door and tell Subhadra to watch that no one comes. So Subhadra Devi had to, her job was designated, and she is at the door guarding. But then she also feels that I want to also hear this. So she peeks inside and she also starts hearing the wonderful nectarian pastimes and what all Krishna did. He killed so many demons. He was stealing butter of all the gopis, and how he was feeding the butter to the monkeys, and how he would be playing with Lord Balaram on the grounds of Gokul, the Vraj Dhuli, the sand and the dust of all the Vraja, and it will be mixed with the cow dung and cow urine and all of that. Krishna Balaram will take, they will apply on each other's face, and they will be pulling the tails of the little calves and cows, and they are so little, and they'll be running after them. And then later on, how they take all the cows to graze, and all the wonderful activities, how Krishna plays the flute and all these pastimes. So as Subhadra is hearing, so immersed, Krishna and Balram, they come from both the sides, and they also peek in to see what is happening here. And they start hearing the nectarian pastimes that Mother Rohini is narrating to all the queens of Dwarka. So as this is happening, they three of them got so engrossed hearing that their eyes became so big, as we can see. The limbs started going inside the hands and legs, and then their face, the eyes and everything became so big, and they just completely changed their form. And as this is happening, Narad Muni happens to appear there, and this great sage says that, Lord, three of you, two brothers and sister, look so beautiful in this form. My desire is that you remain in this form and manifest and give darshan to everyone. And Jagannath is so merciful that is this one Lord who comes with Balram and Subhadra on the chariot every year and then gives darshan to everyone, all the devotees. He blesses them all. So if we take this darshan of Lord on the chariot on Rath Yatra, we will be so blessed by the Lord. The Lord will be looking at us, and we will get this wonderful darshan and blessings. So this is how we can see here that he is so merciful. All these pastimes and everything is happening. And one more point from this pastime is that Krishna himself got absorbed in hearing the pastimes of Vrajadham. So this enchants Krishna himself. And this all these pastimes, Bhagavatam is filled with all of that. That is why until he had compiled Bhagavatam, Vyasdev felt despondent. He felt unsatisfied. He felt that something is missing, because all of these pastimes he had not yet compiled and given it to the people for many times to come, especially in Kali Yuga. So this pastimes enchants Lord himself, and thus his eyes and this form and this beautiful form manifested, which we are very fortunate to take darshan of. And the same is also this. There is the beautiful verse in the Padyavali, which is compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. And this shloka describes how a devotee tries to connect with the Supreme Lord in a spiritual consciousness. And he prays that please relieve me from this material world, this samsara. He says that, oh my Lord, my mind is drowning in water of illusion. So here we can see there is crocodile, there is the elephant and Lord himself. We know this is Gajendra pastime, but here in this shloka, the another analogy is that the mind is this elephant, and the big ocean that they are in, where this struggle is going on, is the material world, the samsara that we are in. And the crocodile, the graha, the crocodile is nothing but the threefold miseries which we are all facing, right? Because we are bound by the moods. So here this analogy is there, that the mind is the elephant and the big ocean is the material world, and the crocodile is all the miseries, and mind is feeling that this ferocious crocodile has held me strongly and I'm being caught very badly. So he calls out to the Lord that please can you release your shining, glowing Sudarshan Chakra and please rescue me. Your chakra is known to even release the Devatas from suffering. And mind feels the fear, and the mind feels that only your great Sudarshan Chakra can release my mind's elephant from this samsara. So when there is this intense prayer that is done with lot of devotion and a prayerful heart, and if one makes the endeavor to connect with the Lord, we have, and one chooses, the desire should also be the right desire, right? The desire is not for any material opulence or sense gratification, is to connect with the Lord, to go back to Him, to gain the ultimate happiness is by pleasing Krishna. So one needs to desire with discrimination. We cannot just have any desire, and that discrimination and that evaluation in life, what is right and wrong, because all of us have lots of desires, but the right discrimination and evaluation comes by studying the Shastra, by hearing from bona fide spiritual master and acharyas, and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how our consciousness gets equipped with the right decision making consciousness. So thus then we will desire with discrimination, we will endeavor to fulfill that desire, will work very hard in the right consciousness, but then the prayer is required, because when we desire, it is at the mental level. When we endeavor, it is at the gross level. We endeavor with our body, words, mind. But the prayer is at the spiritual level, and that is in the hands of Krishna, and that is ultimate. So prayer is very, very important part. And by the right prayer, by being on the Krishna conscious path, then definitely Krishna will rescue us. Till then, the material mind will keep bothering us. So because of my throat, I will not recite this verse, but it's very beautiful long verse, maybe next time. But that's how this verse says that, oh Hari, my heart is like an elephant drowning in the ocean of material existence, being sucked down the whirlpools of enchanting wife, rapacious jaws of the crocodile, like threefold miseries. I'm weeping at the top of my voice. Hey Hari, help me, release your Sudarshan Chakra, which destroys the sufferings of the demigods, and rescue the elephant of my weak heart. So this is a beautiful prayer, and this is how I just wanted to make a point that why Vyasdev is so despondent, not happy, and then why glorification of Krishna and Bhakti Yoga is the essence of all the scriptures, as we saw today in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, how everything is connected. And chapter 12, verse 8 to 12, if you want to go and read, then all of this makes a sense that why Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled, and until then, why Vyasdev was not satisfied. So I know it is time, but few minutes, if you want to share anything, comment, correct, or any question, we can take one or two questions. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'll conclude here.
Hare Krishna Mataji, what a beautiful class. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for bearing with me. And it's basically, I'm speaking to myself every time. I feel I need to learn so much. And all the senior devotees on the chat group, please give me your blessings and please forgive me. And thank you so much for allowing me to speak. In the process, I learn a lot. It's good for my purification. And I really try to imbibe some of these qualities that we always mention and we hear in all the classes. So please give blessings. Okay, so if there is nothing else, then we will definitely conclude. And thank you so much for being here today and doing the Shravanam. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa
Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very well explained. Very nicely explained. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.